Good afternoon from here, anyways, from Western PA, Mill Road, with a video that I didn't actually plan to make. I was not planning to make a live video until Sunday, as I mentioned in my previous video. But I woke up this morning and I had a pretty good night's sleep. I did wake up once for about an hour, about 2:30 to 3:30 or so, because I suddenly just had all these amazing thoughts that were going through my head. Um, but I woke up this morning after all of that, had my coffee, and I had like the deepest sense of peace that I think I have ever really had. Now, I've had wonderful campsites, and I'm not saying that this has been more peaceful as a location. It has been, it's a very peaceful location, but the peace that I was able to receive, you know, was at a completely different level than in previous years of stealth camping. And I think it's because of, particular growth as a person and all that stuff going on. And I'm kind of taking a walk down memory lane and all this stuff. In case anybody's new here, I'm Noah. I have a channel where I mostly do a lot of stealth camping. I don't do anything big like walk the Appalachian Trail or the Pacific Crest Trail. I don't, do anything too big. But some people find it interesting to keep up with a stealth camper because it's kind of risky and we're camping on property that's not mine and it's not public. So that tells you something. And it can be an interesting life if it's organized and juggled together right, or juxtapositioned right, or whatever. But anyways, with that said, I decided I have got to spend one more day here, which I planned on going down into Jefferson County. That's what I planned originally. I thought I was going to leave today, but I'm like, I am a little tired, and I definitely cut an inroad into my muscles because I haven't been hiking with any heavy weight or anything like that. So I want to, hey Chris, so I wanted to have a chance to heal off and recover and so forth. And I wanted to just kind of walk around this place, and I just needed to kind of come back. And I thought, since it's such a beautiful day and in such a beautiful environment, and I'm having such I don't know, a sense of peace, I wanted to take this opportunity to make another video just for my video diary and stuff, or my video journal, whatnot. So I figure I'll take whoever is interested along on a quick little walk through the real backwoods of Western PA, road style backwoods. And I am on the same set of railroad tracks. Oh, actually, I'm going to have to go. Okay. I am on the same set of railroad tracks that I'm planning on walking further south into Jefferson County. I'm just about a mile and a half, perhaps, down from where I camped last night, and I spent out here once like 3 months in these woods, from January all the way through March to the very end of March, almost 3 months. And I thought I would just take you through a couple of little spots that I know. So let's take a little walk through the real backwoods of Western PA. At least this neck of the woods. Western PA is not a tiny state, not a tiny area. It covers a lot of land as far as the state is concerned. So I'm going to put my glasses away temporarily into my pocket, and I'm going to take you through the first place this is a hunting club, and I'm not going to go totally all the way onto it, but I'm going to get close enough to show you what it's like around here in the backwoods of Western PA. Very, very big on hunting. We're in late June, so there's really no big game hunted out here right now. So it's a little bit safe. I have to watch out for trail cam and stuff like that. But yeah, just see that little shack? That's a hunting shack here. And yes, yours truly actually spent a few nights here and there in the winter after deer season was over. So it was like the very end of January and the very beginning of February. Very cold time of year. And I stayed out in this little deal once. That's why I know about it. And let me see what's going on here. Oh, the door is off. That's too bad. This door used to be on. But yeah, you got these windows which open like this. The rifles, they can stick the rifles through. See? It's just plexiglass. And they have it on all three sides. And as you can see, I'm looking around for trail cams. But they have all through here, all through these woods out there, little places like that, to where if I got into a jam and I was down here, I could technically get out of the bad weather if I had to save my life or whatever. I'm surprised I'm getting like 3 bars here. There must be a cell phone tower pretty close, thank goodness. I was worried that I might break signal. Now I'm going to go to another spot where I get water. But before I can do the water, I think I'm actually going to go to an open area and give you a view of what it's like around here. Now we are really close to a couple of Clearfield Amish communities, probably around 2 miles away as the crow flies. They're a little smaller than Jefferson County Amish communities. And Jefferson County is small compared to like Lancaster. Lancaster is a kind of a large town, and the inner city does not have much for any Amish living in there, I don't think. But they do have a lot of farmers markets and a lot of Amish themed shops and restaurants and stuff. But the Amish have huge thriving communities out there outside of the city of Lancaster, and that's around, I want to say, about 300 miles, 270, 80 miles from here. And there is another thriving Amish community called Holmes County, Ohio. The most famous is definitely Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And they call it Penn Dutch. It actually sounds like you're saying like Dutch. It's Deutsch, actually. Because people a long time ago misunderstood it as Dutch. And it was actually, they were trying to pronounce it as Deutsch, which is German. So they are bilingual, and most of the time you hear them speak, it's in German. But they always speak English so they can communicate, you know, with the general public. Because in the bigger communities, not too much around here, there is some, there is a store, a couple of stores. You got Troutville, and then you got a store, 3 or 4 miles south of Sykesville, which is probably about 7 miles from here. Those are the two I know around here. I know around the town between, there's 2 other towns that have some Amish stuff, like dented cans. All right, here's the real McCoy here. This is where I spent 3 months once, or almost 3 months in the middle of winter. And here's a beautiful scene if you want to see what it really looks like here in Pennsylvania. If you ever watched The Deer Hunter, oh my gosh, that is such a ridiculous representation of PA. They go way up into the mountains and the glaciers and stuff, and it's supposed to be Pennsylvania. It's like, come on, man, that ain't the Alleghenies. This is the Alleghenies, and this is just the foothills of them. They do get nice and high, but they're nowhere near as high as the Rocky Mountains. These are the foothills of the Allegheny right here. The backwoods of the foothills. And if you go up into Elk County, you can get some nicer, higher mountains. There we are. And this could be an Amish farm for all I know. I don't know. All I know is that way, about 2 miles, you got a community that has a lot of Amish in it. It's called Helvetia. And about 5 miles that way, as the crow flies, you got Troutville, another Amish community. And if I go straight down that way, the railroad tracks towards Punxsutawney, there's areas where they're sort of like Amish communities. Now, when I say Amish community, I don't want to mislead anyone into thinking that there's like a town and the Amish live there and they say like, hey, welcome to our Amish community. It's not really like that. They have, they're just spread out in certain areas, and that's what's referred to as like Amish communities. And they call them something, I forgot what they're called, but they're like communities that can travel and meet on every other Sunday at church, which they usually have in a barn. And yeah, that's their deal. They usually have furniture shops. There's a lot of farmers. There's some gift shops. Some of them opened up restaurants and things like that. Now I'll show you where, when I'm way off the beaten path out here, where I can get water, to show you how well I know the land, the landscape here. I know it pretty well. You know, these ferns, when they first start growing, I forgot what they're actually called, but you can actually eat them. You're supposed to boil them. But once they grow, they're bitter and they're kind of toxic. They're not good for you anymore. I'm going to go over here, actually. It's easier instead of walking through all that, scratching my legs up and everything. I got shorts on. Okay. Again, always keeping it. I did walk through here real quick just before I came on the video, just so it wouldn't take totally forever. I hope it doesn't. All right. A lot of times you hear guns going off, pow, pow, pow. You know what I mean? But it's quiet today. Down there you can see there's some water. And this is not really a actual spring. What this is a, what is it called? It's a flood valve. It's just a flood relief pipe. And what it's the same in a way as a spring, but a little different. A spring has got reservoirs deep in the earth, and the rainwater goes and collects, and then when it has enough water in the reservoir, it comes up and then out a pipe. This is just rainwater, and this pipe was put into the ground to prevent flooding, but it's still essentially the same. There's like 3 of them around here. I think this is the safest one to drink from because it comes from the deepest part. The other ones are a little more shallower, so this has got a lot more earth that it passed through, and rock and so forth. Here we go, over here. All right, this is where I used to get my water. When I stayed 3 months out here, especially in the winter, there's always a supply of water. And there it is. So it's just rainwater, and it's gone into the ground, and in order to keep it from flooding the fields, it's very cold, like spring water. I've never had a problem, never got sick from it, and I've drank probably 20 gallons out of it, or at least certainly 12 or 15 or 10 or 12 for sure. So that's it. That's the very brief tour. There's another one. Some more water over there. Yes, technically this is not public property and it's not mine. There's a lot of deer out here. There's probably bobcat, coyote, and bear. Black bear, of course, not grizzly. Thank goodness. Black bear's bad enough. Black bear could rip a man to pieces easy. They're very strong. Even the cubs are just very, very awe. You know, they inspire awe of their strength because they can climb up any tree at breakneck speed. A cub is strong enough to just grab this tree, one paw on each side and 1 foot on each side, and go up, I'd say about this fast, that fast. I've seen him do it. And then you got the mother bear, who would probably be slower, but she can do it too. And if you got between the mother bear and the cubs, it could be, you know, they could kill you. It's very unusual. Like maybe once every, I don't know. It's many, many, many years between a black bear attacking someone. If you notice, this is like scratch marks on the ground. That's from the deer. And this is a deer trail, actually. They use it. And they're scratching around for little roots and things that they eat. Now here is an interesting plant. These things are called May-apples, and they will form these little apples. And while they are young, they are toxic. So even the animals know to stay away from them. But once they get yellow and old, and you just do this deal, and they fall off, then they're not toxic anymore. It's weird. Oh, here's one. See it? Like if you ate that or a couple of them, it could actually kill you. But when they're old and they flop off, if you know how to process them, then they're not harmful at all. In fact, it can even be good for you. It's weird. Yeah, those are May apples, they call them. And the deer love them. Usually in late August, they get really ripe. And the toxicity is gone. And the deer just eat them up quick. But they know to leave them alone during the early part of the season. And here is that water. See that? And here is another one. I don't know where the source of this is. It's not as good of a source. Now these ferns are amazing. You cut them off with the saw, the portable folding saw, and you make a bed out of those, and that will keep the moisture off of your from underneath you if you build up enough of them. Here we go. Nice piece of real estate here. And we're going up into another farmer's field up that way. And I'm gonna go back out on the railroad tracks here and get off of the video before too long so I can save my battery power so I can take a video. What I hope I'm doing is when I get down into Jefferson County is what I hope to do is just be near a real Amish home, you know, homestead, where you can see they don't have any electrical wires hooked up, and they got their buggies parked outside, and the clothes are on the line. And a lot of times they will sell their homemade pies and things near their home. And they're known for their pies and their baking goods and stuff. It's one of the ways they make money. And I do think they're very industrious, you know, for living such a primitive life. They take advantage of it and use what they got, and they tap into the interests that people have for them around here, and they make a pretty good living. You see them in Du Bois all the time. They hire drivers to drive them because they don't drive, and vehicles, that is. They drive horses, the buggies, but no vehicles. So the youngsters, before they get baptized, are allowed to go through what they call a rumpsprinka. And a rumpsprinka is to see if they feel a call toward the world. It's their one chance to say yes or no to the faith and to the church and to the community. If they get baptized and then turn away, then there is a shunning process, and I don't know how long that lasts, and it's very sad for the people. But if they break away from the church or the community, there's another one of those flood valves. While they are young, before they get baptized, then there's no shame and no harm, and they can return without any questions. So teenagers who are Amish, they usually start smoking, and they get a car, they drive around, they go and party with the what they call English, the English speakers. It's a little bit like, almost like a Jewish community, like a kosher community, and they're very kind of different than the rest of the world. Well, that's kind of how Amish people are. But yeah, we're probably 2 miles as the crow flies from some Amish farms in the area. And we're maybe 4 or 5 from that Troutville, that store in Troutville. Now this here, going this way, is the way I'm going to be heading down to Jefferson County. I'm probably around 3 miles from Jefferson County, and a little bit, I would say 5 miles from the next town down, and this will go through, but a little bit tucked behind. It's not like everybody's going to see me walking on the tracks, but it's a little town called Sykesville, and it's a cute little town. South of there, about 2 miles, so we're talking about 7 miles from here, that's where you start seeing these little Amish farms pop up, and you start seeing more buggies and things like that, and clotheslines and homes without electrical, attached to it. Yeah. So this is definitely the real backwoods of Western PA. Very big on hunting. And anyways, just thought I just had to take this opportunity and show this. It was really cool. And hope anybody who's watching, Chris, or I think somebody else has chimed in. That's nice. Let me get my reading glasses on. What are you doing? Oh, I'm just showing I'm walking through an area that I'm stealth camping in, that I've stayed out in the woods, these woods, for 3 months at a stretch in the wintertime in January, February, and March of 2022. And I periodically come back here and visit and camp, and I was just showing people, hi, just showing my viewers like Chris from Australia what it's really like around here, the real backwoods of Western PA. This is about as backwoods as it gets around here in Clearfield County, and I like it. I'm glad I'm here, and a lot of area for me to roam, and I have a storage unit that kind of has enough supplies to where I can change my boots if they get wet, and change my socks and so forth. And about twice a year I got to go through everything and throw some things away and wash certain things, and just stealth camp around here. So anyways, I think I'm going to have to get off of the phone here so I can preserve my battery power, because I'm not going to have as much access to electricity as I did up in Du Bois. So I'm glad that I'm glad to have said hi to you, Chris. So the trip down to Jefferson County is going to be postponed for an extra day, because I just had to just relax and enjoy today as it is here in this little area. And I am a little tired from my short travel yesterday, because it's the first time I had any weight on my back. So I figure I'll respond better tomorrow and the next day if I take an extra day of rest and absorb some of this. This is just really gorgeous. And I thought it was really worthwhile to say hi and post this on my video journal. So with that said, I wish I could stay and talk forever, but I got to preserve the battery power. And I hope whoever's watching has enjoyed it, or whoever's watching in the near future. God bless y'all, and thank you. Welcome to Western Pennsylvania through the lens of your camera or your phone or your computer. And I hope you enjoyed it. And God bless. And Noah Road over and out for now. See you soon, Chris. God bless.